So, I know it's been a while since I uploaded my last YouTube video. It's been a busy first half of the season. This season has tested me in a multitude of ways, both from a personal perspective and from a team perspective as well. And to be honest with you, that's exactly why I'm excited to share it with you, to go through the ups and downs of it, what I've learned, and hopefully what can help you guys as well. So how I want to run through this from a personal and team perspective is the expectations of how we've expected the season to go, the reality of what's actually happened, and then the response that we've had to that. Because we all know that everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. As I'm sure it is with every sort of top 6 team, they go into the league and they want to win. And to be honest with you, it hasn't quite gone to plan. We've had a few results that maybe didn't quite go our way. We dropped some points pretty early doors, which made a big difference to how the table sits now. Fortunately, the way the league's structured, the first half of the season doesn't actually make that much of a difference as long as you get into the top 6. So we're happy there, we've hit that goal, but we're not at the top of the table. As I mentioned in the previous video as well, we've got a young side, so we've got to build on that, and that takes time. You can't just expect people to come together and suddenly play amazing hockey. It just doesn't work like that. We've had lots of new signings, so they've got to build into it. They've got to understand how we play, understand the direction that we want to go in as well. And what happens when you have a lot of those new signings is you get different styles of hockey and you're trying to merge them into one. And so that's slightly been the case with us, along with just a little bit of a lack of experience. So I'm 26 now and I'm one of the older players in the squad, which feels weird for me. I'm used to being one of the younger ones in the squad that just rocks up, enjoys the hockey, doesn't really have to worry about setting standards and things like that. Whereas that role now for me has changed. I think classic as well, we've also been on the wrong end of a few results, but that's sport and there's nothing you can do about that. It's something that we've got to learn from. So when the important games come in the second half of the season, we're able to look back and think, right, okay, what mistakes did we make in that game? And how can we make sure we don't make them again and make sure we win this game effectively? Something that we have got, which I think is amazing to have in the team, is that everyone wants to work for each other. We're all working towards that same goal. We all want to win. And when you have that as a team, it really builds camaraderie and it makes you feel like you're part of something special. So let's just talk about some things that maybe haven't gone so well for us as a team. I think the first one is connecting on the pitch. So as I mentioned, like there's people that have come from a variety of different hockey styles, and when trying to merge them into one, people have different ideas of where the pass should go, what position they need to be in. So that's something that we've been working on in training, making sure we're getting everyone on the same page. And that takes time. It doesn't just click overnight. One of those things is people firing it at the back post. But it's not a comfortable position to be in when someone's firing the ball at head height when you're expecting it to be low on the ground. And so you can lose that little bit of trust. And that's just an example. And that happens in every single team. You've got to understand what that type of player is, like what are they going to do in that situation. And from there you can learn, you can build on that trust. So you can almost start to understand and think how they do and where they're going to be, where they're going to put that ball. And you can be in the right position to get on the end of it and score the goals. The other one is experience. And that comes with time, that comes with games, it comes with years in the Prem. Now the Prem is a very physical league, there's lots of running involved, lots of boxing out, you've got to use your body really well, you've got to be super strong in order to get into those positions, defend people off effectively. One of the other things that we struggle with, experience of sort of timings, like what to do in a game and when. So when it's coming to crunch time, can we make the right decision? Can we put the ball in the area that it needs to be in order for us to make sure we secure that win? And maybe at times we just haven't quite done that right. Along with that experience, the other one is things like tactical fouls. When and where do you need to make that foul? Do you need to make it further up the pitch? Do you need to make sure you kick it just outside the D? There's lots of little tactical things that you only learn with time and experience. And that's something that maybe we're lacking a little bit of. But again, the more games you play, the more that'll grow. Pressure's also a big one. All these games have pressure on them. They have some things like riding on them. Maybe, again, a little bit less in the first half of the season. But this is your time to practice. And that's something that we've put into training as well. There's been conditions in training which put a little bit more pressure on the game. So if you lose, for example, you're doing a running punishment, doing a press-up punishment. It's not an extreme punishment, but it's something that just puts a little bit more on the game. It means maybe you just try just a touch harder in that training game, which then equates into a real life match. And obviously there's been moments where we've connected and things have gone super well, and it's looking like 2009, 2010 prime Barca, and we're just pinging the ball around, working up the pitch, the opposition not even touching it, and then we're putting it in the back of the net. And that's great to see, but we need to be doing that more often. There are obviously other challenges that come with that as well. So for me personally, as a forward, I want to be scoring as many goals as I can. And that hasn't quite happened this season how I've expected it to. So last season, scoring pretty regularly, a lot of field goals as well. So I boost that confidence and you get things going, you sort of get into a rhythm. But this season just hasn't quite fallen like that for me. And so that can be really challenging because in your head, you're overthinking like, right, I need to get this shot away, I need to score. And then each game you keep building on it and building on it. It just gets worse and worse and worse and you end up overthinking it. And so you end up thinking, should I shoot here or should I pass? And as you can imagine, the longer that this goes on, the harder it becomes because each game you're thinking, I need to score, I need to score, I need to score. And for me as well, it felt as though I wasn't doing my job. Like as a forward, my job is to score and make sure we win the game. And when that's not happening or when things just aren't quite falling for you, it can make you feel like you're not doing your job and you're sort of letting down the team, which is not a great feeling. And then there's times where you just watch it back on video and you're thinking like, what on earth am I doing? Why haven't I just passed it there? Or why haven't I just been in that position and tapped it in? But because you're so focused on scoring and you're so focused on trying to do the right thing, you end up making the wrong decision, if that makes sense. And you end up focusing so much on your personal game that you forget about the team one. And then because of that, you end up performing worse. And I'll go through how to get out of that in a second. The other thing for me personally is I'm playing a lot of hockey. So physically and mentally it's tiring. There's GB training and England training, along with club training on top of that and the games at the weekend. And because of that amount of hockey, if you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, it gets unbelievably frustrating because you can't figure out why you're doing it. But luckily it's not all doom and gloom. And I'll share how I got out of it and how I had a bit of a momentum shift. And it's only happened recently as well in the past few weeks. So the way that I did it is I asked people that I trusted, my teammates, my friends, what do they want to see from me or what do they see from me when I'm playing my best hockey? And what this does is it helps you to understand your role within the team better because people know what your strengths are. You know what your strengths are as well, but you don't always play to them. And I know what it's like. Sometimes you're looking at other people and you're like, oh, I really want to be able to do that. I really want those strengths. But at the same time, they'll be looking at you thinking, oh, I wish I was able to do what he could do. This wasn't just one big conversation that I had. This was a few conversations over various weeks and figuring out how to get there. So what I focused on was making sure I played the best hockey and making sure I made the right decisions with my skill set. So making sure that I doubled down on my strengths and using those to my advantage. So the other thing is, and this is going to be difficult for a few people, is taking ego out of it. As a forward, as a striker, we all know we want to score, we want to get the glory. But sometimes you've got to make sure you're making the best decision for the team. So what I started to focus on was making the best hockey decision, not necessarily the best personal decision. So in my head, I might be like, right, I need to score. So I want to shoot from the baseline. That might be the best personal decision for me and the ball might go in. But the best hockey decision is me passing it across the person on the P-spot who's just going to tap it in. And then from there, that starts to build confidence because you're making the right decision, you're making the right pass, you're executing the right dribble, executing the right shot, and you're getting in those areas that you need to be in. The other one for me is that I know I'm playing well when I'm loud, I've got lots of energy, I've got good comms, and that's something that you can bring in. It doesn't need to be all about your hockey. So ask your teammates as well, is there anything else maybe away from the hockey that you've noticed that when I'm playing my best or when I'm playing my best for the team that I do? And in turn, because of all of this, I'm thinking less about my personal performance. Subsequently, I'm making better decisions, so I'm playing better hockey, and then I'm overthinking less. And this sort of leads on to where I'm at now. So I've got far more trust in my game, but I know that if I make a mistake, but I was trying to make the right decision and it's just execution, it's way easier to get over that mistake. And I think about it so much less because I know it was the right choice. And so it becomes easier to get over. And so with this, it feels as though I'm heading in the right direction, which is exactly what I want. And so let's talk about the second half of the season, what I'm looking forward to. I think there is a lot of opportunity for us. You just got to be careful on that expectation, because nothing in sport is ever given. It's all earned. You have to put in the hard work, you have to put in those performances, and you have to win games. There's going to be some pretty important upcoming games in the second half of the season, ones that we have to win. And this is where we're going to see growth as a team. Can we put into practice what we've done in training? Can we execute? Can we perform? And can we make the most of those opportunities? I think the second half is exciting. It feels different because we've been through the mud in the first half of the season, which is definitely the best way around to have it. We don't want to be doing that the second half of the season and becoming a little bit unstuck. And that's what happened last season. We had an absolute flying first half, and then the second half we struggled and we dropped off, and we certainly didn't meet the goals that we'd set out at the first half of the season. And I think we came away, to be honest with you, quite disappointed. And if you guys enjoy this style as well, where it's a little bit less polished, then there's lots more that I want to sit down and talk about and just show you guys as the season unfolds. And just to look back at all of this as well, seasons aren't ever going to be perfect, and they're never meant to be. They're supposed to challenge you, you're supposed to learn from them, and you're supposed to grow from them as well, both as a team and from a personal side of things. And that's exactly the reason why we all play. We play because it's fun, we play because it's exciting, and we play because we get something out of it, and we feel like we grow as a person. It'd be also cool to hear how your seasons have gone as well so far. So let me know in the comments below whether you've had a good or a tough season so far.